You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast.
It's the KKP on your mother flipping airways. Hear the name ringing through the halls and the stairways. You were listening to a pod that can segue. All the latest topics guaranteed to fill your headspace. It's a safe place to voice your opinion. Say what you feel just like you're a kid again. Kid to pro and friends black as obsidian. Chaotic culture, that's the world we living in. So what's the word?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, the pod where chaos rules and black culture is supreme. The Chaotic Culture Podcast is brought to you by patreon.com. That is patreon.com/chaotic culture pod. Please be sure that you subscribe to the Patreon for bonus episodes, content, and of course, to help keep the lights on, you can subscribe for as low as $3 today. Once again, we appreciate your support. This podcast will deep dive into modern black culture and how millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha can navigate the crazy parts from finances, black business highlights, black professionals, community, content creators, home ownership, HBCU, sports, black nerdom, anime, wrestling, and especially black music. If it encompasses black culture, we are going to cover it. Live from the 410, I am the host and the creator of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. This is your boy, Ked the Pro, a.k.a. the Calculated Millennial, a.k.a. the Encore presentation.
Can I get an encore? Do you want more?
A.k.a. your favorite toxic adjacent king, Ked the Poet, Ked the Closer, all that good stuff. 843 is me. Baltimore's the place to be. Always chaotic, never toxic most days. And back again, once again, with your favorite black culture highlights and black culture shenanigans. WrestleMania is over. Wrestling is over. Wrestling's not over. It's a 24/7 thing. But the WrestleMania put to the side now. We finally calmed down from all of the wrestling's biggest week. So now we getting back into, y'all already know, the black culture shit. So with that in mind, of course, pulling up today on the pod is, for the first time in a few months, Miss Sape, one of the first ladies of the pod. Please introduce yourself, ma'am.
Well, hello there. It's Sappy's, no AKAs or hey. It's been a minute since I said that. That's crazy.
Yes, it has.
It really has. Shout out to getting an education, though.
Yes, absolutely. That is important. That is important. And of course, joining us all the way from Texas, the instant negator himself, Scuba Steve.
Yes, sir. What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, gang?
What's up, gang?
It's money. Fucking this fame.
Almost forgot to play that.
No. You good. What's going on? It is I, Scuba Steve, the instant negator, aka Scholar's Dad or whatever, aka I can never be Gambit because I'm not your X-Man, aka I wore 2 cosplays and cosplay 1 nigga, and that's it. Yeah. What's going on? How y'all doing, bro?
Man, I'm all right. That's all I gotta say. Usually we start with a mental health check, so I'm just gonna start right off and just say I'm all right. Job has become a little more chaotic, and I promise that's no pun intended, but still.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Maybe just a little bit it was, but still. Just certain things, certain moving parts have been going on. A lot of people getting caught up in some interesting developments, to say the least. Stuff that I really can't and shouldn't talk about on the podcast, but still, it's. We had one day where like a whole lot of managers just didn't show up. Thankfully, it was just from one shift. But still, it was a lot of work to get through, and I'm still tired, and it's just like, yo, I got one more day before I have to go back in. I'm gonna try to enjoy my tomorrow as much as I can before I go back Wednesday, but it's still like, oh my God. But still, anyway, that's kind of me. That's kind of the only thing that's been bothering me lately. Just also trying to get ready for my 34th birthday, which is coming up on the 10th of May, which that's kind of hard to believe. But as I look in the mirror and see more gray hairs coming, I say, well, you know what? Yeah, I am in my 30s. How about that? So, it's a blessing to be able to get older and wiser. And hopefully I don't run away from any wisdom that chases me. I will allow it to catch up, because just from the stuff that I've seen on the internet thus far, this is like there's a lot of lack of wisdom going on in these streets. But anyway, that's how I've been, man. That's how I've been. Sappy, how goes the education, ma'am?
It's going. Just
Fair enough.
know that when I check my grades, they're all passing, and that's all that matters. Okay.
That's all that matters.
Where?
I mean, we used to say C's get degrees, but when we were in grad
C's
school,
get degrees.
in grad school, it's more like B's get degrees. But yeah,
You know,
you
just
know,
as long as we're passing, that's all that matters.
yep. As long as you're passing. Anything else going on in your life?
Everything is going. My life is moving. That's all that matters. But work is getting hectic as well. I'm by myself at the moment, but I'm pushing, and that's all that matters.
Okay. That's good. Steve, how's your mental health, brother?
Mental health is good. I'm not sure when the last time we was on, but I am full scholars here full time. What's up, doggy?
Hey, Zuko has popped up in the camera for those who are watching on YouTube. Zuko, well, I don't know if you can hear me, but Zuko, say hi. He ain't paying me no mind. He just want mama. There you go. But anyway,
working. Scholars here 1000% now.
hey.
Working on big thing. This Wednesday I will be taking these issues. I have about 150 of these. We'll be taking these over to a comic book store in Austin where it will be shelved. And so that'll be something. And then hopefully I can try to branch out to different other comic book stores. Other than that, yeah, I've been good, man. Just working.
Sounds good, bro. Sounds good. You've been doing your thing. That's what's important, and hopefully we get to see your comic book fly off the shelves. Please be sure that you go read or listen to Wake the Dead. Like I kid you not. Be sure you do that. So for today's episode, I wanted to start off with an icebreaker. Now, this has kind of been a trend that's been going on social media. It kind of started on Twitter/X, but it's also made its way to Blue Sky as well. And it's a question that honestly has been getting a lot of traction. I didn't think we'd get that much traction, but I guess it falls in line with those with those crazy questions that we often used to ask on Twitter. What $200 dates or and shit like that. It doesn't fall in line as that type of question, but anyway, here it is. 100 niggas versus one gorilla. Who wins?
Wow.
Say that question one more time.
And then he even tried to put in the context to add context.
Right. So
like he was all like the 100 niggas got to be committed into killing the gorilla.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot. But
you said it. Wait, what was the question again?
It's 100 niggas versus one gorilla. Who wins?
Wouldn't it be the 100 dudes?
No.
No.
How would the gorilla
If it's
win?
100 dudes and their fist alone, no.
It's fist. Yeah, they didn't say guns. If you bring in guns, you might be able to kill it with one nigga.
Wait, is it like one at a time?
No, even if we jump the gorilla, we're punching him. We're not doing.
How would the gorilla survive though? If 100 people are all attacking a gorilla at once?
I don't think we underestimating the strength of a silverback gorilla.
But 100, I can understand like 3 or 4. Yes, but 100.
You're punching the gorilla, and
I think y'all giving this gorilla too much credit.
Their skin is super thick. Number one.
100, dude. 100 though.
How many times are you gonna punch him? How many times do you think you're gonna punch a gorilla?
100 people?
How many times do you think?
I know they could guarantee each.
Because by the first time you punch the gorilla, he ripping you off. Now me and Ken.
But look at it like this. Y'all looking at it. No. Y'all watching too much anime. Y'all watching too much anime. That's what it is. When you are fighting in the movies, they be like one person at a time. You know when they do like those big fight scenes and one person is hitting at a time? No. If they're fighting, 100 people all punching at once. Now let's say all
that's
all
not
100.
that's impossible anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, listen. Now all 100
You see what I'm
people
saying?
punching at one, but at least 10 can fight one gorilla.
And this backhand is going to take out 7 or 8.
You're gassing that. You're gassing that. No way.
Do you not understand? Maybe
a gorilla is strong, but they're not that strong.
It's not. Let's say it's not killing you. If a gorilla backhands 7 people, they out for the fight.
But that's 93 more people that's fighting you at the same time. Okay, so,
and honestly and truthfully, this is me. The gorilla is just eating bamboo in the wild. And he like, what the fuck is 100 people here for? And then, so it's going to be 25 kills before he realized.
He's definitely going to kill a lot, but I don't think 100 people versus a gorilla.
This is the difference. The first 25 is going to be like, hey, get off me. Get off. When he realized that y'all are trying to kill him, those other 75 are gonna be gone. Like they're gonna be
ain't no
gone.
way. Ain't no way.
I got some comments on this. I think that you have to be for the 100 men to win. You would have to be really strategic. Like it's gotta be
a gorilla.
I think that
strategic for a gorilla. I don't think
and I mean this to say like one, you gotta be. I think if you were athletic as hell, if you just like some normal Joe Schmo and you try to go up against a gorilla, hell no. And if you try to go one at a time, hell no. Yeah, like if it's
but if you got people with you,
no.
Yeah, if it's 10 at a time, eventually I think that the gorilla might be like, okay, wait a minute, I'm outmatched here. I think that very last 10 after it probably bodied like 80% or 90% of the people out, that last 10 will have a chance to kill him. That's just how I see it.
I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Because a gorilla we work out our whole lives and niggas be like squatting 800 pounds and benching, you know what I'm saying, 400, 500 pounds. Like a gorilla is randomly right now, a baby gorilla in the jungle has the blunt force to bench like 4,000.
4,000, yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like a backhand from a gorilla, like for real, is gone. It might not kill you, like she said, but it's taking you out of the fight. And he do that 2 or 3. Let's say he just windmill for 4 or 5 seconds. He just took 30 people out of the fight. And y'all are just laying there. You're laying there and you can't even move. So then after he kills everybody, he gonna come back and step on your head, step on their head. Like all those people that's taken out of the fight. Because he don't have to kill you immediately. He just have to take you out of the fight.
It's I'm just looking at like the size and the muscle mass and their strength and their bite force, and it's just like I'm not saying it's not possible for 100 men to do it. With no weapons, it's just gonna be extremely, extremely, extremely difficult and improbable. I would say maybe go for the eyes. That's the first thing you do is like try to go for the eyes and try to blind it. Then you might stand a chance.
Once you do that, you just made him mad. You see what I'm saying?
Like but I mean, he's
the first 20 people. He's just gonna be like, "Hey, leave me alone, guys." And then once he realized, like, I'm in a fight for my life, y'all are cooked. Like once he realized, oh shoot, they really trying to kill me out here. It's over. Like that shit is gonna be nuts.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be biblical.
It's a debate that's been going on social media. That's why I had to ask. But then this dude, Raps Talk SK, the one who predicted that Kendrick Lamar would drop Mr. Morale on the Big Steppers and whatnot, and blew up on Twitter. But for that, he says, okay, let's change the question. 200 niggas versus a polar bear. And I said, that's 200 funerals.
Well,
what?
I know. If you're talking
y'all give these animals too much credit.
You're talking hands only. No weapons.
Hands only.
No sticks. No nothing. It's just, hey.
It's just hands.
Just punch the shit out.
For one, a polar bear is the deadliest bear that's out there. And whereas most bears might be omnivores, a polar bear has no problem eating a human. A gorilla, It's one
Not gonna
thing.
get
It's
that.
like, yeah, you know, but the polar bear, no. The moment if you see a polar bear, that'll be the last thing you see.
Yeah. And then they fast.
Yes,
Like, I don't
one
think
Yeah.
y'all understand.
person.
No,
But I don't
no.
think that. I don't
They
think
skin.
no.
They skin is so thick. Like you punching like a gorilla or a polar bear is like a mosquito bite. Like they're not gonna feel it. Like you just in there just wasting your. And the same way that the gorilla gonna get tired, 100 people gonna get tired unless you got 700 versions of the Rock size with Floyd Mayweather win. Like you're gonna get tired. Like, bro, punching a gorilla or a polar bear is gonna be like a mosquito bite. They're not gonna feel it. And then after a while, like Ked said, go for the eyes. And now you just made him realize he needs to fight for his life. You don't want to do that. Like, this is gonna be a casual ass whooping.
I'm saying like at least the 100 have a chance against the gorilla. Maybe. I don't see the 200 against the polar bear. That's like
The gorilla has opposable thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna fuck you. He gonna start beating people with people.
Start
he gonna start beating
Loki.
Like that shit is gonna be. It's gonna be really really bad. Like I don't understand why they thought, and I think people got egos and stuff. But once he killed the first, let's say he killed 7 or 8. But they just like regular deaths. He just punched you and you died. The first time he ripped somebody apart, everybody else is discouraged. There's like that's all it's gonna take. Like he fucking decides to rip my head off. Kid gonna be like, I'm not going in there. Like the fight is over at that point.
But if all 100 or all 200 are all there for a purpose of fighting, like they're all there to say, okay, we're here to kill this animal, I think they're gonna win.
That's just crazy work.
If everybody think it's a joke, ha ha ha, they're not putting in their all. Of course, the animal's gonna kill them. But if they all putting in work to survive,
100 inmates that are on death row, you all can get off death row. Everybody that survived the gorilla
they're
attack.
gonna win. They're gonna win.
You're insane.
Hands
no
down,
weapons.
Hands down. With no weapons, even with hands or weapons, they're gonna win.
I again, maybe they have a chance against the gorilla. I'm just saying they don't stand a chance against that polar bear. That's all I want to say.
So in that case, if a gorilla and a polar bear had a fight, you think the polar bear is taking the gorilla?
Polar bear is winning.
Polar bear is
a grizzly bear can take a gorilla.
Yeah.
If you think a grizzly bear can do that, then a polar bear certainly can.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah, no. The polar bear is literally the strongest and deadliest bear out there. Like they literally are like they could. Let me get my words correct. A grizzly bear, like I did this kind of a matchup on Google, but if a grizzly bear went up against a gorilla, like just one-on-one, the grizzly bear would win. And polar bears are stronger than grizzly bears. So and faster. and please don't be in the polar bear's home turf. Like, especially if you were 200 men going up into the Arctic to fight a polar bear, yeah, you're not coming back.
Oh, polar bears are 3 times the size of a gorilla.
Exactly. The polar bear is.
That's what I was saying. Like you might have a chance against the gorilla. You not standing a chance against that polar bear.
Yeah, that shit says 3 times. I didn't know they were that big. Good Lord.
Yeah, polar bears are huge, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, that's nuts. Like I just don't understand the gorilla. That is funny. I guess it's cool clickbait to talk about, but the second that he like they was like him squishing somebody's head would be like us squishing a grape. Mm-hmm. Like he's going like once he realizes that he's in a fight for his life, I think the first like 10 or 12 people will get the benefit of the doubt of like, hey, y'all niggas need to chill out. But once he realized, hey, everybody is trying to kill me, it's gonna be very, very bad. Have y'all ever seen the video of the dude, the gorilla just randomly grabbed that cameraman and he dragged him by his ankle across the like a he just randomly he walked up to a dude, he grabbed his ankle and he dragged him and then he just let him go and walked away. And it was like that was him letting you know that at any point I could fuck you up.
Yeah.
I'll send it to the group chat on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. I believe it. I believe it. I just remember what video was that? And I know he became like an internet joke and whatnot. I just remember Harambe when that child fell in that pit. And I just remember
That
him,
poor baby.
that poor baby. Now, granted, he didn't harm the baby, but the way he grabbed that baby by his ankles, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. I see why they had to do what they had to do, but still.
Like it's the way it's just so casual. Like you're nothing to them if they really decided to fuck you up. I mean, there was a video of the lady that had a pet chimpanzee, and the chimpanzee
Oh, he ended up eating her face off.
he ripped her face off. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm like, bro, if he did that to
Yeah.
somebody, a gorilla,
Gorilla.
like it's gonna be it's gonna be a very.
But it was
casual,
one lady, not 100.
bro. It's gonna be a casual ass.
I mean, yeah, one lady versus one chimp. That I
Yeah.
mean, but if we're saying that if a chimp could do that to one person, imagine what a gorilla could do to one person, and then imagine if it was 100 people.
That's what I'm saying. If it's one person, yes, obviously that gorilla, like that person has no chance against a gorilla, especially if that little monkey did that to one person. However, if 100 people, I guarantee you 50 is probably not making it out of there, but that gorilla's not making it out alive.
It's impossible to attack him at one time because he's in such a. It's only so much space that 100 people can do.
But
so
that's
that
what I'm
means
saying.
you're gonna have to take turns.
Even if it is like not all 100 people are attacking at once, I guarantee you a good 10 can get in at once.
So so fair enough. Let's say that. So he's taking 10 waves of 10. Do you think a gorilla is not going to survive 10 waves of 10?
I think so. I'm positive.
That's crazy.
I can say that with my whole chest. I'm positive.
He gonna beat on your chest.
This is why
he gonna beat on your chest. Like 10 waves of 10. Like I said, and then his arms is longer. You know, gorillas' arms are longer than their body, so that's a 9-foot wingspan. This much power going across 9 feet. That's gonna be nuts. Like he's gonna kill a good 7 or 8 every time he swings.
No, that's wild.
Like 9 feet. Do you know how far 9 feet is if I did this? Like, and y'all all, it's 100 of y'all, and y'all trying to get me. If I do this and I'm going 9 feet, 7 or 8 of y'all are done for easily. And not to mention if I kill some extra ones, or if I hit somebody and they ram into
Not
you.
kill some extra ones.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I hit Cad and his body crash into you, that's damage too. You see what I'm saying? Like there's like him doing it's gonna be very bad. And like I said, the second that he realized that he's fighting for his life and he not just fighting just to fight, it's gonna very much it's gonna turn very bad.
Well, this is why I wanted to pose this question. I just wanted to see what y'all's reaction was to that particular question that was asked on the internet. Just like I said, for me, I'm more along the lines of there is a chance, but if you don't go in with like some kind of strategy or the right build, or you not like if you're just going in there just to throw hands and not kind of have any strategic moves, that gorilla gonna kill you. And then the 200 men versus a polar bear, I'm like, yeah, that's 200 funerals like off rip.
Even strategically, what strategic move are you pulling on a gorilla? You gonna give him an ankle lock? like what are you going to do?
All I would say is eventually, like you said, like the humans will get tired, but I mean a gorilla can get tired too. So
exactly. So it's gonna get tired. If it's fighting
really
100 people,
how you fight. Like I'm gonna be like, hey, we'll send these first 10 in, and then we'll send like the next 20. And if you do it in waves, it depends.
That's not true. Because one slap, if
you are really fighting for this gorilla. I hope this gorilla got your back if you get in a fight.
He don't. But the point is, if you send a wave of 10 people, how quickly is that wave over?
That's a good point.
Depends on how hard they fighting. They fight for survival. You got to think fight
How
or flight.
hard? How hard you fight doesn't change the fact of that gorilla's strength. like you're still a
But
human.
just like strength, it dwindles. Like he's not gonna stay strong the whole time.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
It's a gorilla.
Gorillas get tired too.
Compared to us, yes, he is. A gorilla on his last breath is still gonna choke slam or kill.
But he's gonna
you
get
like
tired. He's gonna get tired. Whereas every single wave is a new strength of people.
What? What? The average human, let's say the average human, we're going to put in this gorilla fight, the average human is 230 pounds. So these are muscle head, 230 pound people. He's going in there and he's casually. I witnessed a blood clot in my lung, and it didn't matter that I was 212 pounds at the time. I was like, I'm going down. So I can't imagine a slap
That is
from a gorilla.
totally different.
I can't imagine.
Totally different.
We're talking hypotheticals here. I can't imagine
Well,
a gorilla
they're gonna beat that gorilla's ass.
I still haven't answered the question, I guess myself, but either way, that's kind of what I wanted to think about. Like, okay,
if you hit a man, okay, fair enough. You're alone, and let's say it's 15 dudes, but you got a bat. Do you think that you can win that fight against 15 dudes with a bat?
If I'm fighting,
yeah,
knowing my strengths, I'm getting my ass beat.
Even
with a bat. Even with a bat. Because just like if all 15 are attack me at once, I'm gonna get a good amount. But I'm going down. Because if they're all attacking me at once, I'm not going to be able to defend myself from every single hit.
Because you don't have the quote unquote superheroes, super skin type shit. But their skin, the thickness of their fur and stuff. Like.
You and this thickness of skin.
Okay, polar bear, 200 people, right? If 200 people all start punching the polar bear, do you think he's going to feel it, kid?
No.
So why is it different with a gorilla?
What if 200? I don't know what y'all talking about.
I don't know if 200 people tried to punch a polar bear.
Punch a polar bear, they're gonna do some damage.
Well, let me say it like this: the polar bear ain't letting 200 people punch him. That's one thing.
But like they said, it's the equivalent of a mosquito bite. So you punching the gorilla is like it's not gonna matter. Like, yes, you're gonna be like, what the? And you're gonna slap the mosquito. Like, grand example, when people be like, well, you sleep in a room full of roaches. Did you think the roaches were gonna kill you, or are you just disgusted by it? I think that's what the gorilla would feel like. He'd be like, get you human asses away. Get away from me.
But no, because it's like a roach is this big and a human is this big. A polar bear may be this big, but a human's like this big to a gorilla.
About that size.
It's about this size compared to a roach that's this size.
I don't think so.
And what did they say? Even if the world ends, the roaches is probably going to be the last surviving insect.
I believe. I think there'll be some like crawfish or something still alive and shit like that as well. I don't feel like there's no chance that that wingspan, the blunt force that they have and stuff like that. If they quote unquote get tired, a gorilla could lay on his back and let you have y'all away for 20 minutes.
You gassing it, whatever. Whatever.
Lay on his back for 20 minutes.
Whatever.
What are you gonna do? Like for real. Like if
you gonna stomp him.
How? He gonna sit this high off the ground. How are you stomping?
I thought you said he laying on his back.
Even if he laying on his back, he's still sitting a fucking king size mattress off the ground. He's still sitting a king size mattress at least off the ground. So now you got to stand on top of him to stomp him. and then he just kind of wiggle a little bit and just knock you off, and just be like, "I'm gonna chill for 20 minutes," and I'll just wiggle a little bit. And now I got my
We
wind
gonna
back.
agree to
Wiggle a
disagree
little
at
bit.
this point
It's
because we 30 minutes of this conversation.
Yeah, I didn't think that icebreaker would lasted that long, but here we are.
Hey, not gonna lie, I drank just for this podcast. So
Shit.
here
we go.
It's a Monday, sir.
I'm here to. I don't work, really. I mean, I
Love
work,
that for
but I
you.
don't work. Like it's whatever.
Anyway, guys, we got to talk about what's unfortunately one of our own once again, being a nuisance, or rather, this person just not making very smart decisions. And the person I'm talking about is Shannon Sharpe. If y'all have seen all of the news happening, you've read the articles, you know about the sexual assault lawsuit that is currently against Shannon Sharpe. Now, of course, I can't say whether he did or did not do anything. So for the all purposes, I'm going to be using the word allegedly in all of these comments. I just wanted to first point out, of course, with this engaging lawsuit, that the person that he had relations with apparently is an OnlyFans person, and is a sex worker. And so I'm just here to say, if that's what you do, that's what you do. By all means, if you are out here and that's what you want to dive into, and sex work is your thing, and you calling up sex workers is your thing, by all means, do what it do. Just I don't want to hear about it. That's kind of how I play that situation. Like, I'd rather just not hear about anybody engaging in those activities, especially if it's like somebody famous. Anytime that I hear about stuff like this, is always against my will. So, but I'm not judging. I just would rather not hear about it. That being said, obviously the person who Shannon Sharpe has been having these relationships with is now 21, but they were 19 when Shannon Sharpe first started engaging with them. And this is the first thing that I wanted to talk about, because I have questions. One, why is a 54-year-old Shannon Sharpe talking to a 19-year-old? Like, and to me, this is where I guess morality comes into play, because I know a lot of famous people, their moral code is probably different than ours. But for me, it's just like, I don't have anything in common with a 19-year-old. I barely have anything in common with a 27-year-old. But I've always said that, like, when I talk to young ladies, like, if your medulla oblongata, if your brain has not fully developed, I can't talk to you. And then that age is going to keep moving up as I get older. So I'm not going to waste my time talking to someone who is that much older than me. Like, I just couldn't do it. Even if it's for sex work, I just couldn't do it. But still, it just really kind of bothers me that we have people out here that's going for these young women. And unfortunately, of course, they're not, they're not this. But still, I'm just like, why could he not listen to both Cat Williams and Monique and get himself an older biddy who was gonna take care of him? It's like, yo, you are Shannon Sharpe. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of women who are either around your age or even a little younger. A 40-year-old would have made more sense. Like, if you got yourself a 40-year-old, or maybe someone in her, I'll give the excuse of late 30s, early 40s, because listen, I'm about to be 34. These 40-year-old women are beautiful out here. Let's do not sleep on the 40-year-olds. They're out here. Shoot, some 50-year-olds still look damn good. Why is it so hard for somebody at his age to find somebody his age, or at least, in a slightly younger age range, like anywhere between 30, I'm gonna say 37 and 45? Why couldn't he just settle for something like that? And now, just for clarification, I'm not excusing the sexual assault part. We're going to get to that later. I just wanted to focus on the age gap. So if anybody has comments on that, please feel free, because I just don't get it.
I don't know how you lead to sex with somebody that you can't have a conversation with.
Exactly.
No, but then again, we are different people. Maybe he can have a conversation with. I don't understand. I don't get it, because I mean, You know what I'm saying? Being transparent, being in the military, I have watched old ass niggas like literally, oh, it's a whole new group of privates coming in. And I was like, bro, y'all are sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, but those same dudes came into the military. They came into the military at 18 and they still have a mindset. To me, honestly and truthfully, those people that were in the military from 18 to about to retire, them niggas still be having the same mindset as 18-year-old kids. It's weird because they ain't never had to live life outside of those military boundaries. So they used to being taken care of because the military take care of niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just living in this frat boy life for 20 years. But that should be weird as fuck. Like I've seen so many first sergeants, sergeant first classes and stuff hit on like brand new privates. And I'd be like, bro, that's y'all are 45, 46, and that girl turned 18 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like I've watched it, and I'd be like, bro, that shit is nuts. So maybe Shannon being in the NFL and stuff like that, maybe he had that same mindset. I don't know. But me personally, like if we can't even have a conversation to lead to sex, how can we have sex? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
me mentally, I just can't even do it. I can't have no conversation with nobody that young. It's weird.
Me either. Like listen, some of the kids in college right now, like when I
Yeah.
go back to Hampton and they're 18, 19, 20-year-olds and they know me because I was around campus enough. I'm still like, we're not mature enough to or you're not mature enough to have that kind of conversation with me. And I don't even want to talk about the things that y'all are talking about because they don't interest me. Like where we come from, I'm 2 generations ahead of you. Like I don't want to like talk about any of the things that y'all are talking about. Like what are we even doing here? So I would not be interested in having. I wouldn't be interested in anything an 18-year-old would have to say to me unless it's hi, how are you, and just talking about their day and what they got going on for their lives. It's not going to get any further than that. I'm looking at them like my nieces and nephews, and I hate that I'm embracing my uncle energy already, but that's just kind of how I see it. Like, yo, you are, yeah, I got an 11-year-old, about to be 12-year-old niece. So I'm just kind of like, yo, I see y'all as like, not as children, but I see y'all like we not on the same level of adulthood that y'all are on. So I don't have anything to connect with you. Like we have no kind of connection or anything in common to talk about. So why would I even engage with that? So I'm with you on that, Steve. Sappy.
Honestly, I think it's nasty.
It's
At
very
this point,
nasty. It's gross.
it's very nasty. I mean, for somebody who he already done slipped up once with that Instagram live video. I think he should have been a little bit more careful if he was trying to, you know, do his little business. He too grown to be doing all that.
Yes.
No.
He too old. He too. Let me not say grown. He too old to be doing all that.
Yeah. It's a lot. And then I don't even want to get started on like the text messages that that Buddy posted. This is stuff that Shannon Sharpe revealed on his own, by the way, when this lawsuit came up. The stuff that he put out there, like the not safe for work text that she has been sending him, he decided to put that all out into the open, which I'm just like, yo, who is your publicist? Who is your lawyer? This does not a
Obviously,
good
he do not
strategy.
care.
You said
He
what?
does not care.
Clearly he doesn't. I'm just wondering, like, why would you put that out into the open like that? Wow.
What did he say? Because I didn't read none of the messages.
Hold on. So some of the text messages that I'm trying to find the ones that he sent. No, not the ones he sent, but the ones that she sent to him. Goodness gracious, this is really hard to. Here we go. One of them was put a big black baby in me. Yeah, so you already know one. She not this, but this is stuff that he revealed on his own when he released his first statement. The other one says the text reads, "I know you missed this big juicy ass, 25K for each cheek." Uh, there was also there's some some very not safe for work. I mean, if y'all watching this episode, I apologize, but this is just what is in the statement that Shannon released. One other text reads, "I want to be abused, daddy." A third text reads, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you are fucking me." Other one says, "You better crave it because you're gonna be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me." So yes, she was fetishizing
All
the
I see is
fucking.
Dr. Umar.
Black queens forever, snow buddies never.
Never. Listen, this is just. I would not release that for my personal well-being. Like if someone sent this to me, especially at Shannon's big age, bro, what?
Yeah.
Hold on. And then now what the accuser, of course, released was I guess it was a vocal recording saying that he was going to fucking choke the shit out of her. Now I don't know in what context that was, if he meant that he was going to hurt her or if he was going to, do what she asked him to do in those texts.
Yes.
I don't want to know. But yeah, there was also some text messages saying that in one of their encounters, she did ask him to put a condom on and he refused. So that is assault. Like, if someone at any point in time when you're having these conversations or you're having these actions, somebody can withdraw their consent at any time and you just got to let it be. So if girl says put on a condom, guess what? Put on a condom. If she says I don't want to do this no more, back off. Like that's easy. And the same goes for the males too. If the male say, "Hey, you know what? I'm not feeling this. Let's stop." But yeah, apparently that's what's been going on, and she is suing Shannon Sharpe for $50 million. I'm just like, okay. Now, granted, her lawyer is Tony Busby, and we all know Tony Busby is a shady lawyer. But I'm just looking at this whole situation like, hey, bro, you got to make smarter decisions. One, again, consent is consent, man. Like if this is what we do, consent flows only over here. Like if she says no, I don't want to do this in particular, then don't. And then obviously don't get aggressive when they don't want you to be aggressive. So apparently there was also some situations where I guess she might have feared for her life. Again, this is all alleged, but still, I'm just like, one, don't talk to anybody that could possibly be your daughter or granddaughter. And then two,
that's crazy. His granddaughter.
About to say that's giving granddaughter.
Exactly. And then two, like, consent, bro. Like just go with consent. It's really not hard. And she clearly wants you or wanted you at that time. All you got to do is just consent. That's all. That's it. Just be like, if she doesn't consent to an action, just back off. Maybe she might ask for it later. And if she doesn't, there are plenty of other ways that you can dive into your sexual activity. Clearly with, and I don't want to get into that, as you said, with Shannon's last incident when he was, and that went IG live and we all heard this man getting it in. Like, bro, it's plenty of women out there his age, and then on top of that, like, just please, if the woman consents, fine. If she don't mind, it don't matter. But if she does mind, just back off. Like, it's not that hard. It's really not. I don't understand why a lot of niggas out here just don't have more self-control. But maybe I'm not other niggas. I don't know.
Have a whole weird way of thinking. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I didn't want to give it like a whole lot of attention, but I just want the audience to know, man. Yeah, please, y'all, just remember consent. Please remember consent. And if they don't want to do anything, don't force the issue, because then it becomes sexual assault, or for YouTube purposes, it becomes grape. because I don't want to say that word, but gotta start bleeping out words and whatnot, man. I'm not trying to get demonetized before we get monetized out here. So, in any case, yeah, it's happy laughing.
Crack it up.
I'm trying to be serious, but I guess I'm using the wrong words. Anyway, listen, y'all. Sexual assault is a very, very serious thing, and unfortunately, it is something that it's not just in our community; it's in different communities as well. But still, I just want people to know that you can live without having sex for real. But most importantly, you can do certain things as long as she agrees to. And if she doesn't agree to it, there's plenty of women out there who will.
Especially with somebody like Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah, especially if you Shannon Sharpe. You got options, bro.
You had Rob's date talking about she was down to mess with Shannon Sharpe. So I can't understand what's going on.
You said you had who?
Rob's date.
Oh, Miss B Nasty.
Thought that she would be down.
He really could have called Miss B Nasty. She like what in her mid-30s?
If that,
like he could have called
like
her
30, 32 or something like that.
Yeah, she in her third. Like that would have been more acceptable. Still would have been kind of weird, but it would have been more acceptable. One, because she's older, but two, also like she ain't no spring chicken.
She's nasty.
Yeah, she nasty with it. Like, I mean, there's options, bro. And then, like Monique said, man, you could have got you an old biddy that would have, gave you the loving that you needed, and then make you breakfast in the morning, the cheese, eggs, and the toast with the apple butter, and y'all would have been going another round or more. I'm just saying, bro. I'm sorry, Sappy. I know we getting raunchy. That's how Monique told him. He's like, stop messing with these super young ass girls out here that got nothing in common with you, especially with them not being this.
Or not even nothing in common, nothing to lose.
Right.
Like, they don't have nothing to lose. There's a lot going on.
They not old enough to have anything to lose.
I mean, there's 18-year-old quote unquote actresses, even though it's still wrong, that he could just be like, oh yeah, I'll mess with this 18-year-old actress or whatever. It's still wrong. But at least they got something to fucking lose.
What's his name? Leonardo
DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah, that nigga's sick.
Sick. This is a sick Negro.
This is a sick mother. But at least they got something to lose. Like he just found some OnlyFans. That girl don't got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, bro. And then on top of that, if you was sending him those text messages, it's like, yo, and then you chose someone who fetishized you. Nah, you gotta move smarter out here.
Tracy Ellis Ross is single. What are you doing, Shannon? Go get her.
I'm saying, especially in Hollywood, bro, there are, I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. There are late 30s, early 40s, and some 50-year-olds that would have gave you the business. I don't know why. It's gotta be something mental where they have this obsession of being young forever. And it's like, bro, you're not going to be young forever at all. Like you are 56, you're pushing 60.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, don't waste your youth, but at the same time, you can't be young forever unless you die. So
Maya's right there. Maya's single. She's out there.
Maya 40. Shit, Maya.
And she vegan.
And I'm like, yeah, Maya 45 sitting here looking like she's still in her damn 20s. Yeah. That vegan diet been doing some wonders for her. Shit, Maya knocked on my door and said, "Yeah, do you want to go?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. You get the politeness and all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There are plenty of them out here who would, give it to you and give you what you need. And just because they're a little older, that don't mean that they don't know what they're doing. Like, stop with the ageism, man. Just find you someone who's around your age or maybe even a little younger, and that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. But like I said, I think it's a youth thing that they're trapped in their heads that they're still in their 20s and 30s, just trying to live out their prime when their prime has been passed. But also, I think it's a patriarchy and control issue. Like, oh, she's this young, I can mold her and I can groom her into thinking this way and yada yada, and I can have her do these things for me and whatnot. And I really just want that to die off because that is a sick mindset. And I'm not saying that Shannon Sharpe has that mindset, but when you be messing with someone who is old enough to be your youngest daughter or your granddaughter, that is, I'm like, bro,
Yes.
yeah, that's insane. So, and that comes with more questions than it does answers. So, any other comments on this before we move on? Happy with the look of disgust on her face. She is absolutely disgusted.
My face shows how I feel. So there you
Yes.
go.
There it is. There it is. Okay. All right. In sports news, yeah, shout out to the Heat. They got swept by the Cavaliers, and this last game was yikes. The final score on this game was 138-83. Good God, Miami, you got embarrassed. And I hate to quote Drake, but embarrassing. Like that is crazy. Yeah. So that's sports news. Also, Shaquille O'Neal agreed to become the men's basketball general manager at Sacramento State. Oh, okay. So shout out to Shaq for those moves. You know, I guess he decided to not to give up TNT because I think that inside the NBA is still going to continue, but obviously he's doing something else and he wants to get back into the actual sport itself without actually playing it. So I think hopefully he'll be able to bring that college up. Maybe, you know, recruits are going to probably fly to Sacramento State. I can't wait to see what that school does in the meantime. So, Sappy, and to my audience, I do apologize, but I just wanted to throw this out there. Sappy has not heard GNX, and I'm a little
Okay, you
surprised.
ain't gotta put me out like that. You ain't,
Sorry, but
there's been
I
reasonings.
thought for certain you heard Kendrick's album. Like I thought for sure that you
haven't.
heard it already.
I haven't.
I don't know. You missing
I'm
out.
embarrassed to say.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think I've
fine,
listened
it's
to anything new. Like I've listened to singles, but I haven't listened to projects,
fine.
and that's
Which is
rare for me.
I got you. It's okay. It's okay. But I wholeheartedly recommend that you listen to that album, especially
It's
because
on my list. I got the list. I
okay.
just need to work my way through the list.
Hey, listen, I was gonna ask, are you going to that concert?
No,
Okay. Well, there it is. Because I was
baby,
about to
I
say if
didn't
you
even
were
look up
going,
the tickets because I already knew.
oh yeah, they was up there.
I already knew.
Yeah, they's up there. Look, I'm going.
I know you
Mm,
going.
of course, I'm going. But I listen. I'm like, yo, I saw Kendrick twice. I need to see him a third time. And with him doing a stadium show, I'm like, all right, yeah, this will be dope.
I
So
don't think.
I will
No,
be
I've never
in
seen him in
attendance.
concert.
You never?
I've never.
Did you not go to the championship tour when he was at Virginia Beach all them years ago when Damn came out and he won the Pulitzer in 2018?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's when he went on tour with TDE and whatnot. The only person that wasn't there was SZA.
Wait. At Veterans, the Veterans Amphitheater.
Uh-huh.
I think I went to that.
Okay.
I think I went
Yeah,
to
I
that.
was like, I thought you went to at least one, but either way.
I think I went to that.
So, for those who don't know, I just wanted to throw this out there because obviously he took it back. The rapper on the song "Hey Now" off of Kendrick's album GNX, aka Dodie Six, was unfortunately a trending topic a couple of days ago because this dude decided to, I guess, text Adam 22, aka No Jumper, and I don't know why you would do that, but he sent a message saying that I am homeless and I am on meth and to call K Dot the B word, obviously. And then he recorded himself in his car saying, like, yeah, I'm homeless and yeah, I lost my kid and whatnot. And, you know, but when I get back on these rap tracks, you know, I'm murdering everybody and everybody's going to he's pretty much talking crazy. And then he said that Kendrick verse, or rather the verse spot that he did on that song, didn't really change anything for him. And it just caused a lot of scrutiny. And you know, the Drake stans ate it up because there was like, oh, Kendrick really ain't doing nothing for him. He ain't planting no money trees. He ain't looking out for him. Like, what kind of mess is that? And I'm like, so Kendrick gave him a spot on the album, but it's up to him to take advantage of that.
Facts.
Yeah, like he literally says on the not that record, but he says on the record with on Peekaboo featuring AZ Chike, he literally says, "Big dog business, I will not hold your hand." And especially in the music business, bro, like
Message.
but literally like in the music business, people ain't supposed to hold your hand, like especially other artists.
Your talent
They'll
got to
give,
speak for itself.
yeah, and then
Not even your
you,
talent, your grind got to speak for yourself. That's the
exactly.
thing.
And if you're given the opportunity, take advantage of it. And it just sounded like Dodie Six did not take advantage of the opportunity because obviously he was
None of
crashing
them,
out.
in my opinion, none of them have taken advantage of the opportunity.
AZ Chike has.
Yeah.
Oh, Chike has definitely taken that opportunity. Because granted, he didn't like blow up, but when he had that verse on Peekaboo, this man immediately went back to the booth and started dropping more music.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would think you would do.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what Dodie Six was doing because I did see he dropped a few songs, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe his work ethic isn't as strong as Chike's because Chike was just like, "Nah, we gonna keep putting this out there. I'm gonna keep posting on social media. I'm gonna keep recording." AZ Chike got a deal out of that.
Yeah.
So he was able to sign a deal.
That's what I would think you would do is like just start working, showing everybody like this is some more of my music. If you like my verse on this song, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody is going to like that verse, but at the same time, there's an audience for it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If Kendrick, going triple platinum, somebody, at least a platinum amount of people are coming to you. You know what I'm saying? To listen.
Exactly. Like I'm gonna just say it like this: the artists that were on there, we saw AZ Chike get a deal. Lefty Gunplay, who had all of 6 words on that entire album, is also dropping more music, and I'm not sure if he ended up getting a deal out of it or not, but apparently he's been getting more spotlight, which is for an artist that was only known in Cali. That's actually pretty good for him. And I don't want to comment on Lefty Gunplay as a rapper because I'm honestly not the biggest fan of Gunplay. I've heard some of his music, and I'm just kind of like, okay. Chike, I do like AZ Chike, so I'll give him that. But listen, if Lefty Gunplay and AZ Chike can take advantage of it, then Dodie Six can do that too. Even Peso, who probably had the worst verse off that whole album, even he was like, yo, this changed my life. Like, I took advantage of the opportunity, and now I'm seeing like Peso was seeing more stuff and more fame. And I don't want to say fame, but he's getting more attention than he ever has before. And he was thanking Kendrick because of that. And then some more stuff came out from other podcasts. And this is why I say not all podcast mics should be banned, but there are some people should not have a podcast. I'm just gonna throw that out there, especially I've got to throw that out there. Yes, I know we are a podcast and I'm a podcaster, but some people just should not have a mic. But still, there was a podcast where people were doing the math and they were like, listen, if the song that Dodie Six was on made $5 million and Dodie is getting like a 5% cut of that record, bro, you making at least $100,000 somewhere down the line. And it's so crazy that you would bite the hand that feeds you in that way. It's one thing to, when it comes to, because people will try to compare this to like the fact that Kendrick went at Drake and he was biting the hand that fed him because Drake put him on. I was like, no, Drake took advantage of an opportunity because Kendrick was being put on by Dr. Dre. But regardless, the way that Dodie did that was unnecessary because, bro, he's not supposed to hold your hand. He's not supposed to do all these things for you. Like, he gave you an opportunity. You're supposed to take advantage of it. And the dude was still showing you love at his concerts before you started talking shit. And so now, I don't know if he changed it back up, but the moment that he heard that Dodie was talking shit, he took Dodie off of the Jumbotron that he had him on during his concert. And instead, it's a video of him and one of his dancers getting down. instead of playing the Toady verse. So it's just kind of like, bro, you ruined your own opportunity.
The same as Khalees on that Beyonce thing.
Yes.
Was like all you have to do is shut up and let the money grow.
She went. That's the thing. She wasn't gonna get no money though because she didn't own anything. So
She put her name on the damn writers list though, so she was gonna get something. She was finna get something.
What's really just also crazy is that from what a lot of people were saying is that Dodie doesn't have a good management system outside of his pops, who is his manager. Like the IP was like the publishing was just really not done well on his end, and then on top of that, with you not putting out as much music as the other folk, like you really just not out here doing what you're supposed to be doing. That being said, his father also said like, yo, he's still getting residuals from Hey Now. And then on top of that, like Dodie probably lost his home, but he's not homeless per se because Pop's still got his own crib. So it's like, bro, you can come home. You don't have to be living out of your car and whatnot and letting these people heckle you. Like, bro, just come home and get yourself back on your feet. But
I don't know how you blaming a whole nother grown man for why you homeless.
Exactly. That's the one thing that I wanted to say. Is like, bro, why are you blaming Dot for this when it ain't Dot's fault? Dot ain't got nothing to do with this, bro. It's your actions.
Was he homeless before the track came out?
Nah.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
He wasn't in and out of jail. That's the other thing. He wasn't
homeless before the track came out. That means when the track came out, you decided you was gonna say, "Oh shit, I'm on now," and start spending.
Yeah, like responsibilities out the window.
That's what it felt like.
And if you were really on meth, then I wonder where all that money was going to. I'm not alleging that you spent all that money on meth, but I'm just saying
he was on drugs.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to say the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just saying, like, bro, I get it. Life has been difficult, in the streets of LA. Shit get crazy out there. You ended up losing a child. You're in and out of jail. I get how things can be like stressful and that you can be in a depressed moment, but lashing out at somebody who tried to put you on, tried to get your name out there, gave you an opportunity, and you didn't take advantage of it, that's wild behavior. So I say all that to say Dodie Six ended up apologizing. After all of that, he did go on Instagram.
Never said anything.
Should have never said it, but he ended up apologizing anyway, saying like, "Yo, my bad to Kendrick. I didn't mean to do that." I forgot what the actual message on Instagram says.
He saw his face was off the jumbotron and was like, "Wait a minute."
Exactly. he course corrected real quick. Let me see. Dodie Six apology. I'm gonna pull up Hot New Hip Hop. Let's see. Where is it? I want to publicly apologize to Kendrick Lamar for calling Cuz a bitch because he's far from that and ain't did nothing but bless me in my life. So, yeah. One, you should have never said that. Two, why the hell you going to fucking Adam 22 to break this story and say all this bullshit? But of all people, goodness. But yeah, at least he apologized. But still, you should have never said that shit in the first place, bro. Come on, Cuz.
Call him anything like, "Oh, I'm homeless because of you" or whatever, but calling me a bitch is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm Kendrick, I keep his name off the jumbotron.
He probably will, man. And who knows? Because y'all know Kendrick is petty. He's just as petty as some of these folk out here. He will like, oh, okay, you gonna turn your back on me? All right, fine. I'll just be petty back.
But write a whole nother verse in that part.
Damn. Have somebody else take it. He's like, "Hey Now" re-release featuring somebody else, or just "Hey Now" by Kendrick, like by himself, and like, all right, we just go cut that verse and just go in right here.
Make his own verse, like I said, make another verse to it. It'd be crazy,
man. This man, Dodie Six, really said, "Who the fuck I feel like Joker," and ended up looking like a whole ass clown.
That's
He's
really what it was.
But anyway, that is that. Also, I just wanted to do a quick check on this before we do this review, because the review is pretty much going to take up the majority of this, the rest of this episode. And I just want to say, y'all, like, with all this stuff that's going on with this particular person, I realized like I can't listen to Kanye anymore without cringing, just because of some of the ridiculous stuff that he's been saying and has been doing. I'm just like, I can't do it no more, man. I tried my hardest, like, to give
Yeah.
him too many passes, but then when he started doing like the whole Nazi-ish on Twitter slash X and whatnot, saying all of this craziness, and then having the nerve to do an interview with Livingston Allen, aka Whackademics, and coming in an all black KKK outfit. That's when I'm like, nah, bro, this
No,
is
that's what Joe Budden said. He was all like, "It's even worse because you showed up in a regular outfit, and then you went and changed clothes in the middle of my interview
wow,
and put like to me that's more disrespectful to me. Like
very,
you're not taking me serious as an interviewer because why would you think that you can leave for a quick second and then come back in that?
yeah.
Like, yeah, you're not taking me serious as an interviewer, so now I have to put my hands on you, like because that's crazy.
That's fighting words.
Yeah,
For fighting
that's
actions.
crazy, bro. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just
I just feel
all
like
of
at
all
this
the
point,
crazy things Kanye does, and I'll admit this is my fault. I should have cut it off when I realized it was starting to get really really weird. But Kanye was still making good music, so I kept like, all right, whatever. But he's allowed to have his own thoughts. Even when he went full MAGA, I was just like,
we
okay,
shouldn't be
we don't
surprised at
agree
this
on that.
point, though.
Yeah,
Kanye has
I'm not.
literally had a steady decline since.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm just extremely disappointed. So
Absolutely, but at what point does it come like it's just Kanye at this point? Because we have been disappointed, 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 disappointed. So at this point, it's just like, oh,
yeah,
Kanye's on there
it's
doing
not to
stuff
the levels
again.
of it's just not to the levels of I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, bro, he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and I'm gonna ignore it. But I just can't listen to his music anymore. It's just really strange because I tried playing College Dropout, and I'm like, yo, this is still a good album, but I just can't
It
get
is.
over what has happened to him over the years, and it just I don't know. Some people, like, I get when you experience a traumatic event that yeah, it's going to hurt for a long time. But at what point do you finally like pick yourself up from off the floor and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let this shit affect me anymore? Um,
But also, what point do people stop using that as an excuse?
that was my other thing. Like
Because
at
I
one
feel
point,
like every single time Kanye do something, everybody's like, oh, but his mama died. Okay, other people's mother has passed away, and they're not out here wilding.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so what
So,
point is it a crutch?
Mhm.
and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I done gave him too many excuses just from my personal vantage point. So that's why I'm just like, you know what, y'all got it. He dropped new music. I still haven't listened to Bully on YouTube because apparently it was and from what Johnny has told us that it was actually kind of good. But for me, I'm like, I just can't do it. My moral
I,
code won't let me do it.
I remember seeing people comments. They was like, "This is the most toxic relationship I ever been into." They was all like, "Because I want to listen to his music, but this nigga just do too much."
Exactly. And then like recently, he's been really trying to shit on Tyler and Kendrick and whatnot. And I'm just sitting here like, bro, Kendrick
What do
ghost
you
wrote
say
for
about
you.
Tyler?
Bro, he been on every single one of Tyler's albums. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, I get. He's
Well,
saying that they can't rap.
bro, him and he said that about Kendrick and Cole that they can't rap.
Can't
I was
rap.
like,
That's crazy.
you might not like their music.
I know. I mean, I'm about to say Tyler's music is very different.
Yeah,
If it ain't your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But you can't say that they're not talented.
they can't rap is nuts.
It's nuts. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane. And here's the thing. I will fully admit that I wasn't a fan of Tyler's early music. Now from Flower Boy on, oh, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But some of the
I,
early stuff, even Cherry Bomb, I'm like,
I was
okay,
about to say,
cool.
I would say Cherry Bomb on Ford is my
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah.
But like Goblin and Wolf, I'm just like, I can't do it. I
No, you
cannot.
know,
Goblin is my shit.
Hey, more power to you.
Goblin is my shit.
I could not get through it without being like, oh, this is the shock
My
raps
man
was
is off
way
the
too much for me.
rockers, absolutely. However,
Yeah. But still, you can't say that the man can't rap. You can't say that J. Cole can't rap, even if you don't
I
agree
wish
with
somebody
what
would
J.
say
Cole
that.
did during the beef. Like,
like I said, you might not agree with his music. You might not like it. It might not be for you. But J. Cole and Kendrick saying that they can't rap is nuts.
yeah, it's insane. But that's why I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's just Kanye being Kanye because Kanye wants the attention. He's doing and saying all this because he wants the spotlight to be on him, and ain't nobody giving him a spotlight because one is too outrageous, and then two, Kendrick out here going on stadium tours, so now he's about to be at the same level of Kanye as far as fandom. And meanwhile, no other rapper was doing that or is doing that, and then Kendrick just broke another damn record. I think he had like 9 million in one night, over 9 million in one night, just from one night alone.
It's
So,
just
and
stupid, bro. Like it's just a dumb.
it's
He wants them to. Damon Wayans said it best on Club Shay Shay. He said Kanye is that homeless man that always is talking crazy, and you just ignore him. Like after a certain while, you just ignore him. The only thing that changes is that Kanye made $1 billion before he became the homeless man yelling into the wind. That's the only thing that's different. Like because he became that homeless man like right after he made $1 billion.
mm-hmm. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. He literally is the old man yelling at a cloud at this point, and it's sad to see. And it's crazy because I had Kanye as one of my not as like a top rapper, but just one of my favorite artists in general in the past. And I can't even say that with a straight face anymore, just because of all the things that he has said, all the things that he's done. It's just like when you see one of your favorite artists take such a huge fall, and it I don't know, it just kind of makes you think about like life in general. Like, yo, I pray that I never fall that far, and I just pray that, regardless of what's been happening in my life, that I maintain a level head and a peace of mind, because clearly Ye has no peace right now, regardless of what's happening. And that's why I said I'm gonna pray for the dude, but until he changes up, instead of saying all of this uh Nazi crap and saying stuff that is like not only anti-black but anti-Semitic and doing all of this dumbass shit, like I'm good off it. So that's just my take. Okay. Now for the grand finale of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. We've delved into the pitfalls of black culture in the first part of this episode. Now we have to talk about one of the biggest movies to come out this year, and that has generated a lot of internet discourse, and that is Sinners. Now, I know it's been like a week and a half, 2 weeks since the movie's been out, but I wanted to have this discussion because it's become such a phenomenon, and it was such a great movie. It's like, yo, we got to talk about it. I know everybody and their mama talking about it, but I still want to discuss. So I know Inside the Mind of a Bird had an episode about it, but unfortunately, I could not be a part of that episode because I had not seen it yet. I saw it today, and when I tell you that the storytelling was phenomenal,
Mhm.
like I absolutely loved the storytelling of this particular movie. I think Ryan Coogler got in his bag with this, and just from the characters to the plot to using the facets of history, as well as like elements of black culture, some that were known and some that were not known, and mixing it all in and coming up with a very cohesive story was absolutely incredible. So I just wanted to first ask, like, what were, and spoilers by the way, but what were some of your favorite moments in this movie? Sappy?
I'm trying to think about it because I saw it this weekend. I'm trying to think like from beginning to end what I loved. No, okay, big spoiler, but the scene where he was playing in the juke joint and they had like the elements of the future and the past. My skin was crawling.
Yeah.
What?
That
I was like,
amazing.
and they said it was all done in one shot type. I don't know what's the term for it in film, but for them to have been able to film that the way that they filmed it and it still be so impactful, like I thought it was 10 out of 10.
Absolutely, Steve.
I also enjoyed that scene a lot. To piggyback off of it, they kind of like tried to. I saw the movie like 4 times, by the way. But like they even tried to like set you up for that moment in the very beginning where it was like there's stories about these type of people. But even if you like on your first time watch, that setup is not enough for what you actually got. It was like breathtaking to see that. And I mean, when I saw it, I saw it the second time with Skylar, and Skylar was like, "What is going on?" Like immediately, she was like, "I don't like it," because of the electric guitar that you see at the very beginning. That's the first person you see, and then like 10 seconds later, she was like, "This is actually dope," and I was all like, even her, like she was swayed super quickly, like it was like for like 10 seconds, she was like, "What is this? What's going on?" All this other, and then it was like immediately she was like, "No, this is dope." Funny thing that Skylar said, she was all like, "They need to get Haley Steinfeld up out of there." Said, "Last thing we need is her ancestors popping up." That shit had me fucking dying. That shit had me dying.
Oh man. Hey man,
that is hilarious.
No hate to Haley Steinfeld, but
the rest of her ancestors popping up because I was thinking.
But I do love how they tie that in, though. Like I do love how the whole reason why the vampires were trying to get in is because they wanted to see their ancestors, and he was able to do that. So like I really like how they tied that into like why the vampires were there in the first place.
Exactly. He wanted Sammy's light and his memories, and that would have given him access to that. So I do like the fact that they tie that in as well. That scene was incredible. I'm sitting here just looking at the screen like, yo, I see elements of the past, elements of the future, from us playing the drums, from playing the djembe all the way to playing the electric guitar to the DJ set. I was blown back like, yo, okay. And man, I just thought that was such an incredible scene.
But they did take elements of dance too. So
yeah, and that as well, because we also saw
very much so Theater Key.
Yeah, also shout out to Lee Jun Lee who played Grace. We saw when she went out to the floor, we saw her ancestors in there too.
Yep, that's why Skylar was busting out with, "Wait a minute, shit, you got some slave owners walk through this motherfucker."
But no, so somebody puts. I went with my friends when I saw it, and they said something that made sense. So although, like, you notice how her character was like sometimes down for the team, sometimes not for the team, and then I didn't realize that. In the beginning, they had one shop for the black people and one shop for the white people.
Yep.
And I was like, Miss Gurley was towing the line the whole movie.
She was the whole time.
Like there were signs.
That's real life though with Grace. And because down in the Delta in the Mississippi, the Asians came and they did open up shops, but white people wouldn't sell to black people. So the only way that the black people could get their groceries was through the Asian people. So actually that was like super accurate to what they were going through in the 30s and stuff like that. Just because white people wouldn't sell to them, they wouldn't give them real money to open up their own grocery stores. But for some reason they would give it to the Asians, it's just weird how like what did we do to make y'all niggas so mad? Like because like
you're willing to give actual cash to Asian people so they can start their own grocery store, but then y'all was still giving us plantation coins, and that was
Exactly.
actually weird. But they, Ron Coogler, he talks about it on. I listen to In Proximity,
Hmm.
which is his podcast. I listen to his podcast with Straw Hat Goofy that he was on that episode. He was on the Breakfast Club. I really want to be a writer myself, so I have to study. And he actually talked about like that was a real thing. Like that was how black people actually got their groceries back in the day and stuff like that was because they were the only people that they can get it from were Asian people.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, that's some little known Black history facts right there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I never knew that at all. I didn't know that Asians were really out here like
they
that.
yeah,
What I'm saying, to be honest.
yeah, I knew that like when I saw it, and I knew that there would be some like especially in the city or small towns like that, that the city would be split. Like you would have the shops for the white folk and the shops for the black folk, but I did not know that about the Asians at the Mississippi Delta. So that is definitely some interesting facts there. So thank you
Yeah.
for getting me hip to that. I will also say like not only the scene with the music and summoning the ancestors was one of my favorites, but I think um what was another scene that was like really incredible? This is just from a cinematography standpoint. Being able to film of Michael B. Jordan as both Smoke and Stack in the first scene that they showed up like simultaneously. Do you know how difficult it is to make that kind of shot? Because most times when
Especially
you
when they
do
were smoking.
yeah, when they were smoking, like when you do a double camera shot, like it's in most cases what they'll do is they'll film,
Behind the character.
the actor, and then they'll film him, and dressed up as something else, and then they'll split it and then put it together by merging it. But the way that they did that was extremely difficult, and looked it up on how they did it, and it was complicated. And I'm like, bro, the fact that they were even able to get that is extreme cinematography, and they did a phenomenal job with that shot. That's one of the hardest shots to even make.
Bro,
So
yeah. They were saying how like in most movies where people play twins, they kind
mhm.
of do like a back. They do a recording from like behind one of the twins
Yep.
most of the time, or if they'll do like the side by side, but they don't actually interact with each other side by
Mhm.
side. So to Sappy's point, them passing the cigarettes back and forth, the Stack throwing a knife to Smoke to kill the snake. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like those are things that you don't normally get in these.
And especially the
Twin-
fighting scene at the end. Like
Yeah,
it was
they're
very
fighting.
hands on. Like, yeah, that fight. And I remember one of my coworkers telling me, she was like, I noticed that like during the fighting scene, you could see that one of them was a little bit small because like I guess Michael B. Jordan was a little bit buffer than the stunt double that was playing,
Mhm.
him.
Mhm.
And so she was like, I'm noticing, and I was like, I didn't even notice that. Like I had to actually look. I was like, yeah, you're right. So the way that they did it, it was hard to tell that it was like somebody else
Mhm.
stepping in
Yep.
instead of it actually just being him. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
wonder why because as hard as it is to film that type of way, I wonder why they didn't just get another actor. Like, why did they make him a twin?
They did. Oh, okay. I about to say for those scenes, they do actually have.
No, I
From
know
what
they
I
have a fill-in, but I'm saying like overall, why was the character a twin instead of just like brothers? You know what I mean? And then just get another actor. Like, why did you go the harder route?
I don't know because like
Mhm.
some people were speculating that it's supposed to be Jonathan Majors and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, but from what and it's not I don't know how true it is, but from what Ryan Coogler said, he said he always intended to make twins. He always intended it to be Michael B. Jordan as the lead. Like those were his intentions from
Mhm.
Jump Street when he
Mm-hmm.
said that's what he said, and then he says because everybody have like these twins from their hood. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Mm-hmm.
got
Mm-hmm.
some twins and stuff like that. So he actually got these twins from Oakland that he knew, and he had them. He had Michael B. Jordan like kind of shadow those twins for like 6 months. Like
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? So he could figure out like different things and stuff like that. Like
Characteristics. Yeah.
yeah. So like how they're the same but they're different and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea why he chose to go this route, but I mean we've seen it before, like Tom Hardy in Legion. He's playing the mobsters, and they're twins and stuff like that. So we've seen them do these things before, but like never to that extent. To Kid's point,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
we've never seen like most of the time they're just like they're there and they'll show each other on screen together, but they never really, in a sense, interact with each other to where they're like how Sappy said, passing cigarettes back and forth. Like they don't do that, and it's only gonna get more. You know what I'm saying? Like now that this didn't happen, 10 years from now, somebody's gonna try to take it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be trying to do more than just pass cigarettes to each other. It's gonna be something crazy. I don't know what else you can really do, but it's gonna get crazier in 10, 15 years when somebody does another one.
Nah, for real. One thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people did get a chance to see it in IMAX. Now, I didn't see it in IMAX, but I did
I
see it like
did.
Cinemark XD, which I guess is as close to IMAX as I'm gonna get, at least for the nearby theater. I have to find an IMAX theater to go to see it. But I've just been hearing like the aspect ratios are absolutely crazy if you see it on IMAX. So
It is. I've seen it. I saw it in IMAX.
Did you do D box as well, Seth?
What's D box?
Where the seats are like moving?
Oh,
And,
the 4DX.
yeah, yeah. I did
Nah,
that too.
I just saw it in IMAX.
now I'm gonna have to go see it again.
Yeah.
just for that.
Bro, because like when the carriage, like, I mean, when the car, when they start the car up and it kind of like vibrates, you'll see
Mhm.
vibrate like you riding in the car.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, like
crazy.
it was pretty cool. It was cool. It was cool, and I will say that, but I don't know if I will pay $30 to do that for any other movie.
I would
You
need
know what
to
I'm
see
saying?
like a really good action movie to do that, like Jurassic Park or something.
Even then, I still don't think it was worth. You know what I'm saying? Like when they were like, when Perlene was singing and they were
Mhm.
stomping and clapping and stuff, like your seat was
The seats
stomping,
was moving.
stomping,
Wow.
stomping. Like it was cool, but like I still don't think it was worth $30. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't. I don't. I mean, I would spend my money on popcorn before I would spend $30 on a seat.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Side note, but honorable
yeah.
mention, Mr. Delroy Lindo.
Delroy Lindo, my boy Delta
Carried.
Kim.
He carried.
He carried.
Yeah.
That is
And
like the
not just
ultimate.
the
Carry
serious
that.
character, but also as a comedic relief. He
Very
played
much
both.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck with that.
Yes,
He
man.
played that, and I feel like there's never been a character that he hasn't like given
Right.
justice. But I'm telling you, that my man needs an Oscar nom. I'm gonna say it.
I
He needs an
listen.
Oscar nom.
Supporting
Best-
actor
best
for
supporting
sure.
actor,
Supporting,
for sure.
absolutely.
For sure. I will say that as far as like the acting was absolutely phenomenal from everybody. Uh, Miles Catton as Sammy. But let me just say this real quick. First off, I had no idea that he was a Kurt Carr singer. I found that out today. I was like,
His mom
whoa.
too.
Yeah, his mom also sang with Hezekiah Walker. So yeah, that boy got.
That boy got
When
flat
I heard his voice, I'm
vocals.
thinking like, yo, is this his actual voice or is this somebody singing for him? But I'm like, nah, this is actual voice. That my
That boy
guy.
got that down home cooking voice. You hear me?
Yeah, he got them pipes, bro. Like he got them, like you said, down home cooking, grew up in the church, gospel pipes down. Like that, my man came with it. Also, shout out to Jamie Lawson as well. She for her singing scene, she did as Pearline, she did a good job as well. And side note, I will admit, like, listen, the way that Pearline was looking at Sammy the first time they met, I'm like, listen, if a girl gave me that look, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, God bless. God bless. Anyway, but I think she did a really phenomenal job as well, even though her part was like not prominent, just being the just having Sammy like have somebody that he was enamored with to the point where in the distant future when he's uh, um at this point a famous blues singer at the very very end, um and he's aged and whatnot. He named his band like the Pearlines. I think that showed just how much of effect that she had on him, even though she was whole ass married, you know.
I ain't
That
seen
was
no ring on her finger the whole
I didn't
movie. I'm
either.
just saying. I ain't seen no rings
She
on her
probably
fingers.
took it off before she left the house, but you know what? He said that was one of the best nights of his life before the sun went down, and I'm like, well, bro, you got your
You got your little son.
yeah. My boy Stack is like, oh, he done found that button. I'm like,
Licking that ice cream.
looking at that.
Right.
Bro, that was such a hilarious moment before things got crazy. But
That's what I'm saying. For like the movie, even though it was like a serious action film, like the comedic timing was perfect. It was on point.
I actually and like starting off, really for like the first 40 minutes, you don't even really know if you went in blind, which nobody did, but like in the future, 20 years from now or something like that, some random person decides to cut this on blindly and don't know there's a vampire movie. For like the first 40 minutes, there's no vampire
You
aspect.
don't. I like every time I was saying it, I was like, it's like watching two different movies put together. Like you're watching like just like a back in the day, like Jim Crow type movie where they're just trying to get their business off the ground, and then that stops, and then there's a vampire movie.
Yeah, that's super intense. The way that they play it, the way that because what you call it, the scene where what's our main vampire? The main vampire, I can't remember his name, but the main vampire,
Remick.
yeah, Remick, where he comes out and he runs to the house and stuff like that. That was apparently the opening scene in the script. Him running to the house and the Choctaw following him to the house and things like that. That was like the opening scene originally. And then somewhere down the line, they ended up going with the preacher boy scene and stuff like that. And I saw this movie 4 times, bro. That beginning scene where preacher boy comes into the house, into the church, and then it goes, Sammy, that real quick Sammy thing. I jumped all 4 times. Saw it 4 different times, and I couldn't time it.
Because his voice changes so much when he says it.
He's like, Sammy, is real quick. Like he walks up to the altar. His dad goes, tell everybody and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden it goes, Sammy, real quick. There's a jump scare at the very beginning of the movie, 15 seconds in. And that got me all 4 times. I was like, bro, what? How do you keep getting me? So that was a really good placement. How they do that.
Very much so. In a movie that didn't have a lot of jump scares, that was one that I was like caught off guard. I'm like, damn, in the beginning,
like that quick. I was like, my popcorn's still full. And I had like wasted some. I was like, God,
my popcorn is still full.
I wasted popcorn on this.
God damn it. But my favorite scene, that Ku Klux Klan smoke, Tommy gun.
Oh yeah, when Smoke actually smoked all of the KKK when they pulled up at that morning. Yeah,
that was fire. That's one
because and I love that they added that at the end, because like you thought once they beat the vampires that they're good, they survive, and he's like, nah, we got a whole nother.
He remembered Remick's words. He was just like, oh yeah, nah, they coming. Let me go
not
ahead
even
and
unfinished business, but like it's like you had a supernatural threat, now you got a real world threat. Black people just can't win.
And that would have been every day for the rest of his
day.
life. It would have been every day, because now you done wiped all them out, so now they're gonna tell other people. Like that would have been every day for the rest of his life. Worried about vampires at nighttime, playing in the daytime. That would have been nuts. But it wasn't just like how Sappy said. It wasn't just unfinished business. It was a promise. I told you, this is the last dollar you're going to get. And if they come back across this line, I'm going to kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he, you know what I'm saying? He took off the mojo bag. He didn't have to do any of that.
Like he was waiting to die.
Yeah, he wanted to die. Because if you saw when he opened his chest up, it was like 5 grenades in there. If he wanted to, he could have stayed over there in the trees and threw grenades. That would have took out the majority 80% of them, and then he could have sniped the rest. Like he chose to go out that way. And
I mean, because his family was gone. Like everybody in his family was gone. Because he thought his brother passed too. So at that point, he's like, "What I gotta live for?"
Yeah, he knew that his brother wasn't gone.
But yeah, even if his brother, like, well, he because obviously he made Stack promise not to mess with Sammy, so he knew like, yeah, his brother's still out there, but it's like, okay, his brother can no longer see the sun and is a vampire now, so I've technically lost him to that side. I've lost damn, I've lost Grace, not Grace, goodness gracious, wrong person. I've lost Annie. Yeah, I've lost Annie. I've already lost my child with Annie. He ain't had nothing to live for. And then remember, he killed his pops. So
yeah, he killed his pops too.
Yeah, so it's just like everybody that he cared for and loved is gone or turned. So he was like, all right, well, shit. I'm not about to sit here and be turned and deal with the clan and deal with all this heartbreak. So, he took himself out the only way he knew how, as a soldier. So I give him that. Also just the like from the combination of elements, but seeing like African spirituality / hoodoo mixed in with obviously the bastardization of Christianity is what I like to call it, and seeing those dueling elements like within this movie also like brought up some pretty specific like questions, and then you also get some history behind it too, because even though Remick was white, he was Irish, and if you know the history of the Irish were also I'm not gonna say persecuted because they weren't as persecuted as black people in this country. No, it's not even close, but they were still discriminated against until they weren't. So it's really just like not odd, but it was really kind of like
they were considered bottom of the barrel white.
Yeah. And just seeing how, when Sammy begins to pray, and then you hear like how Remick was just like, yo, this was also forced on me too. It's just like, damn, that is insane. How, it's literally like two parallels, but unfortunately, for us, we still can't win. Meanwhile, nowadays, like Irish folk don't suffer the same kind of persecution that they did in the past. But still, it was seeing those elements mixed in with the, within the movie itself, and then, hearing the music and how it could summon all kinds of spirits, including the evil ones as well, was something that really struck to me, because we can go back to talking about how Lucifer is the music of angel. Excuse me, the angel of music. Goodness gracious, I'm twisting on my words. But how Lucifer was the angel of music, and how that played a role in his downfall from heaven, and he went from being Lucifer, God's favorite, to Satan, God's enemy. And it's really, really mind blowing when you get all of those elements packed in this film. And then there's more discussions that could be had on account of spirituality versus religion, and how, especially within the Black community, a lot of that is still mixed in and intertwined, but then a lot of our people will see certain spiritual elements as demonic, not knowing that we've been practicing those things for years within Christianity, if you strip it down for real. But it's just really
eating the body of Christ. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Drinking the blood of Christ.
Exactly. So it's a lot of elements that were touched on, and I thought that was really impactful and really powerful. And then also, again, dealing with Jim Crow. One of my favorite comments by Stagg, he was just like, man, Chicago ain't nothing but Mississippi with tall buildings.
Buildings.
That's crazy, man. It's like, yo, Jim Crow, even if it wasn't quote unquote practiced by law in those northern states, it was still, you still had de facto racism. Like, people were still, persecuting Black folk. And it's really, really interesting. And then on top of that, we got to see the Choctaw, the vampire hunters. And I just thought that this was funny. Like, Literally like, hey, yo,
It
we
was
looking for
like,
someone that's very dangerous.
Gave you a
And
warning.
that woman was like not moving. He was like, all right, may God be
it
with
was
you.
like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
your problem.
Hey,
Goodbye.
homeboy was like, "Hey, the sun going down. We gotta get the fuck out of here."
Man, that boy said, all right, well, may God bless you and have the night you deserve. And sure enough.
I ain't gonna lie though, watching that movie when the vampires were singing, I was in there like, you know what I'm saying? They
Hey,
music was a little good.
and that Irish shit was going crazy.
That
Yeah, it
went
was.
hard. It
Michael
went
B. Jordan in the
hard.
background clapping. He was hype. That shit was going
Nah,
crazy.
him doing the Irish step, I was like, hey, listen, hey, I know he's the bad guy, I know he's the villain and whatnot, but I still am amazed every time I see that. So I gotta give him credit where credit's due. Like that was phenomenal. Uh goodness, I want to talk about so much more like about this movie. Oh, this is the one thing that I wanted to really ask. So my friend Maya, who was QTA with me, Sappy, she posed a poll on Threads, and it said, "Who was more in the wrong? Was it Grace or was it Mary?" And I'm like, Stack also played a role in that too. Stack and Smoke technically played a role in that as well.
Mhm.
So it's not just one person that was more wrong than the other, because all four did something that led to the events happening that night. But I wanted to get, your opinion on who you thought was the most in the wrong, if you can lay the blame at one person specifically. Because I can't. I blame Smokestack, Grace, and Mary.
Why would you blame Smoke and Stack? What did they do?
I blame Stack for not having that closure with Mary.
Okay.
Because ultimately it led to, like, instead of just pushing her away completely or accepting her, you keep her in this middle road. You like, nah, get on. But then at the same time, when you start dancing, like, nah, come here. And then on top of that, you're playing with her emotions right now. So she feels like she has to do more to get you to accept her back into your life. So that's why she even went out uh to talk to the other to Remick and the other white people, because she feels like she has to help them out because she wants to be a part of their family. So he's like, all right, fine, do what it is. And the fact that he even let her go out was the thing that really started the whole cascade. It's Mary's fault, obviously, because she, had something to prove and wanted to be useful, and of course overstepped her boundaries and decided to help them and whatnot. I blame Smoke because had he not been as greedy, and I think Steve had just said this, like if Smoke had not been as greedy and would have just accepted like some of the plantation coins and just let the money build up over time instead of like wanting the money right then and right there, that all could have been avoided, and they wouldn't be so focused on trying to get the money.
That's right.
So that's kind of what ended up why Smoke ended up playing a part in that.
Yeah. So for me, we posed a question on our podcast on Inside the Mind of Blood. We posed it as, "Are you Team Smoke or Stack?" Because Stack was like, "Yo, this is Stack and Annie both had said this is a place where they getting off work and they can kind of just let their hair down. They can just live. Quit worrying about the fucking money, the plantation coins or whatever." And they kind of just, you know what I'm saying, we're like, you know what I'm saying, this is a place for us, by us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they get to live, they get to let their hair down, they get to take a load off from working all day for the white man. This, and that, where they feel safe. It's a safe place for black people. But Smoke, on the other hand, was, in a sense, trying to build up, for lack of a better word, trying to build the community. Because earlier he had just had a conversation with the little girl about how to hustle, how to make sure you're getting money, you're just
That
due.
was a message scene too.
Yeah, trying to
That
make
was
sure that you get your just due. But then also, you know what I'm saying, like, we can never grow as black people if we accept them plantation coins, because this money ain't spendable nowhere else. We're doing all this work and they're giving us plantation money. So we're building up their economy, and our economy isn't even building because they're giving us fake money.
Money.
So it gave this thing of like, are you team smoker or like, hey, we're not accepting that. We want some money. Or are you like, nah, for real, this is our safe place. Let them live. You know what I'm saying? Let them have enjoy their thing. So I kind of posed that question as a topic of are you team smoke or stack compared to, you know what I'm saying, though their two way of thinking. Um, which ultimately, like Ked said, smoke being like, we're not making no money, this, and that, which, you know what I'm saying, even though Stack said this is our place of peace and stuff like that, it's still my twin brother, and he's right. We're not making no money. How do we get more liquor for next week? How do we get more liquor for the week after and stuff like that? Because nobody's going to
I
accept.
know you got to maintain this safe space because if it's a safe space for one day, it ain't really a safe space.
How Daryl Orlando said, you ain't paying $20 a night. You're paying $20 like
two nights.
Maybe.
They're gonna be here for 10 more years.
10 more years. So it's like a lot of
that was a message too, though. And because I mean, that's how you so quick to support this white business, because this white business has proved time and time again that they're gonna be here. But these black businesses, it's so hard to support because you don't know if it's gonna have longevity. You don't know if today is gonna be here tomorrow. I mean, it's gonna be here today, not tomorrow, and then you got to go and find another business to support again. So it was a message. Okay, this movie had messages.
A lot of messages.
But honestly, I wouldn't know. Everybody played their part, and I think that's what made it such a like that the ending scene where they felt like they had to fight for what they had, because I feel like everybody played a part in making this situation what it was.
Yep.
And even
so, Grace, but if I had to blame somebody, I'm gonna blame Grace. I'm gonna blame Grace.
Being real,
Grace
though, Smoke said
she was stingy. She was greedy. She was trying to fight for herself and her daughter, and then she ended up telling the vampires to come in here. So Grace. Yeah, and if I gotta write a name down, it's Grace.
Smoke said he was like, "Hey, give me a second to think." He said that in probably a minute or two before she did all that. He was like, "Give me a second to think, Grace."
I'm trying to call out my man's manhood.
Yeah, and she was
he
like,
"A soldier. He gonna come up with something." Yeah, but here you talk about come on in.
Yeah. So I think that's fucked up because she played off emotions when she saw her husband blow a kiss to her. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, "Nah, fuck that." But like Smoke,
and then she did all that just to die.
To die immediately. So you really wasn't a help. You really did that shit. Just
so now your daughter ain't got a mama nor a daddy.
At all. That's crazy.
It'd be one thing she went out there, killed her husband, and then fought with them and died. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, okay, cool.
But you just wanted to kill him, and that's it.
Yeah, and it didn't change anything, because let's say that you went and killed him. Give him, what's his name?
Remick.
He has all the memories. He still knows your daughter exists. So you didn't do the job. You didn't get the job.
And what makes it worse, she died by the fire she started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Selfish.
Which I'm going to say that if I had to pick someone who was more in the wrong, it was Grace, because yes, Mary was the domino that was the first domino that fell. As far as like the events that led to the fight, but they didn't know anything about the vampires when Mary was turned. At this stage, you know what's outside, you know what they're capable of, and you know what not to do. You know not to let them in, and you know that the ways that you can kill them, but you know what they are at this point. You let emotions get to you, and Grace was ultimately, I think, more in the wrong, because like, yo, you have all this information now, and yet you let them play on your emotions, and now you've lashed out to the point where you invite them in because you were so eager to kill them, only for things to pretty much just go the way that they did. So yeah, I would say that Grace was definitely more in the wrong. I'm not saying that Mary wasn't equally as wrong, or Smoke and Stack weren't equally as wrong either, but Grace was definitely more in the wrong because
got
and I
Annie
sympathize
Hill,
because yes, they
Marlene.
played on your emotions and they're talking about your daughter. I get that. I understand. It's very, very, very understandable, but no, she was in the wrong. And I wanted to point that out because someone on Blue Sky said Grace did nothing wrong. I'm like, no, she did everything wrong.
From the
She did a lot of
beginning,
things wrong.
from the opening of the movie, sis was in the wrong.
Right.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, she got Annie killed. She got Perlene killed because these people could have possibly survived the night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, especially with a plan in place. So she got these people killed.
She got Delroy killed.
Got Delroy Slim killed.
Not Delroy.
Well, he sacrificed himself. In the end, he sacrificed himself
he wouldn't
because
have had
he wanted to help everybody survive.
But he wouldn't have had to sacrifice himself had she not done that.
Yeah, because they could have easily. I mean, not easily, but they could have came up with a plan where it was like, "Hey, you can come in, only you," and then he come in and they kill him one by one. You know what I'm saying? They could have tried something. They could have. I don't know what they could have came up with, but they could have tried to come up with something. Where,
but I also, you know what I really loved about it is like, you know how usually when you watch scary movies, there's always like those tropes where it's like, somebody goes out by themselves and they get killed, or somebody lets in the killer and the killer ends up killing everybody. Like, I love how they did that part with Cornbread, where Cornbread went out and got caught, and then Cornbread tried to come in. It was like, we ain't having it. No,
it's just like you ain't never needed
that
to
black
before.
Telepathy that no.
Like, we're forgiving each other. We kind of
because it's like you
one
been
another
coming in back and forth this whole time, and you mean all of a sudden you just can't come in? Nah, we ain't doing it.
That was also mentioned as well. That whole be kind of one another. I'm like,
hilarious.
Yeah, very, very hilarious and very like message. If you know, you know. Like, okay. But yeah, I thought that was a very strong comedic moment because like the moment he tried to give him the money and then you saw Cornbread go for the bite, like they was prepared. Like, nope, you're not about to turn one of us right here.
Yeah, blew his face off.
Blew his face off.
His whole face off.
Yeah, that was dope.
I felt bad for the dude who got his face cut and they thought it was blood. And it ended up being wine.
And also Perlene, eat the garlic, bro. Like Perlene would have been.
You know what's so funny about that? I was like, I could tell that all the people I was in the theater with was black because as soon as she was like, everybody was like, "Girl, if you don't eat this goddamn garlic,"
like, I gave it that look too. Like, girl, just eat the damn thing.
It's so crazy because like even though that scene was hilarious and it was low key smaller to the whole story because overall they only eating the garlic because they think somebody bit old dude to turn him into. They didn't even have to do that. You see what I'm saying? Like that was just a scene that they ended up doing because they thought that he had turned into a vampire because somebody was a traitor amongst them. And stuff like that. So I even thought that was like really dope that like they tie in so many loose holes and stuff like that and like real scenarios of what would have happened if, you know what I'm saying? Like if this happened in real life, like, oh man, somebody in here has got to be a fucking vampire because he turned him. You see what I'm saying? It was all like, you know what I'm saying? So then they went through all of that only to find out.
Just for him not to be a vampire at all. But then in doing that, he ends up turning into a vampire.
Yeah, he ended up going outside. And Cornbread, of course, is the first one there.
But one thing I will say is I loved the ending because we got to see that Sammy did not give up his dream or renounce music to his fire and brimstone daddy. He kept his guitar.
Fire and brimstone.
Yeah, became a celebrated musician. And yeah, big shout out to Buddy Guy. When I saw his face, I was like,
I literally was like, oh, shout out to Saul Williams too, because Saul Williams played Sammy's dad. I was like, I ain't seen you in a minute.
It was Saul Williams. Now that you mentioned that, bro, I haven't seen him in a minute either. Wow. Wow. Goodness gracious, slam. That brought me back. Okay. But yeah, I got definitely shout out to Sammy for, following his dream and becoming that, celebrated blues musician and whatnot. And then even turning down immortality, saying, "Look, I don't had enough of this world."
Yeah.
Okay, because ain't nothing worth living for in this
But
place
yeah,
forever. No
forever.
way.
He was like, I think I've had enough. But I'm glad he was still able to play for Stack and Mary at the end. And then we saw that that scene at the end, at the very end, the post credit scene where he played his version of This Little Light of Mine, because I think that itself was a really important message, because he didn't let his light die, despite the fact that Remick wanted it for himself. And you saw how strong it was, because it was able to attract, as we said, spirits from the past, spirits from the future, and of course evil itself. He didn't let the light die. He was able to get out of there, thanks to Smoke, and thanks to them, waiting it out until the morning. They were able to come through. And you want the ending to be more like, I guess, happy, but at the same time knowing that he was able to survive and he was able to make his dream come true was a very satisfactory moment for me, because it's like you didn't let nobody take your light, and you were able to make it blossom into a great career based on what we saw in the movie. So shout out to my boy Sammy. He was one of my favorite characters. And I think that if nobody else gets an award, no, Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo, and Miles Catton, they all need awards. But also big shout out to Wonmi Masaku. Like, she played the
She's
hell out
becoming
of,
a thriller queen, and I love it.
yes,
I
she
love
played
it.
the hell out of Annie. And then of course to Jack O'Connell, who played Remick. Like, he did a phenomenal job as the vampire, the Irish vampire. He did a good job. And had his own like tragic backstory on top of that as well. And did a good job of preying on the weaknesses of black folk, telling them like, hey, listen, like they not giving you anything, there's still Jim Crow out there. You've got nothing to live for, but just live forever. Like,
Bro, he low key, he would have swayed. I think he would have swayed a lot of black people.
Yes,
would've.
he would have.
And
Absolutely.
back in the day, he would have with that message. He would have swayed a lot. Of black people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. But yeah, to your point, Miles Canton, that might be the only person that I think might beat Delroy Lindo as best support actor. Yeah, support actor, because they probably nominate both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just doing so much success and stuff like that. It's the same thing with Everything Everywhere All at Once. Jamie Lee Curtis and the daughter were both nominated as support actress.
But she shouldn't have won. Let's be honest.
The daughter should have won.
Stephanie, she should have won. And it pissed me off that she lost.
Yeah, because Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't in the movie long enough, if you ask me.
And she ain't do much for her to have been nominated. But
she just fought. She didn't act at all, really. Yeah, you're right. She shouldn't have. I think the daughter should have won, or Angela Bassett in Black Panther, but that's what
she did.
If we talk about for real winners.
Yeah.
Which is one last point that is crazy. It's like now the Oscars are requiring that you have to like literally watch every film, and I'm like, y'all weren't doing that before. This a
requirement in the first place?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, so wait, you mean to tell me that they weren't watching every film or every performance before? Were they just voting just to vote?
They was voting off of.
They was voting off of. I saw this movie, so ain't nobody. There's no way nobody had a better
movie because I saw it and it was cool. Yeah. Like,
there's no way nobody had a better performance than this, even though I haven't seen the other.
Nah, movie. that is crazy. That the Academy was not required to watch all films nominated until literally just recently. That is crazy.
So normally what was said is that you vote for movies that you've seen. So if you have seen, like, let's say 5 of the movies, then you like don't vote unless you've seen it. That they were doing it based off of morality. Like, you're supposed to vote if you've seen it all. But people was just voting because, hey, my friend is, being nominated and I want them to win, so I'm gonna vote for them. But you're supposed to vote on, okay, if you are somebody who's seen all these movies in all these categories, then you vote. But they're not doing that. And I heard Academy fees is quite up there. So if I'm a part of the Academy, I'm gonna watch all these movies because I'm paying money to be a part of it.
I'm saying, like, listen, if the money to be into the Screen Actors Guild is as much as it is, then I can imagine how much it costs to be in the Academy. Like, that's come on, y'all. Come on, let's be real. But anyway, that's really all that I had. I definitely really just wanted to focus on like the Shannon Sharpe incident, but mostly focus on this movie because this was a phenomenal piece of art and a phenomenal movie. I'm not like the best when it comes to like the horror genre, but this is it's not a scary movie, but it's some there's some horror in there, like especially if you black, like there's some triggering things in there that make you be like, oh, ooh, okay, yeah. So if you have not seen Sinners, like please go see that movie. Please, and do what you can to avoid spoilers because they all over the place at this point. It's been a couple weeks. But may God bless you in your attempt to avoid the spoilers. But I'm just throwing it out there. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I will probably go see it again sometime, maybe next week, because I know I got some things to do this week. But anyway, I'm just gonna see if there might be something that I might have missed, or if there was a message I might have missed after the first time. But yeah, that's a movie that I would buy if we were still buying movies and
I
still
said the
buying
same thing.
movies. Like,
I
yeah.
said the same thing.
And I honestly, I'm gonna ask my mom and my brother if they've seen it. If they've not, I'm like, hey, this is something that we might be able to go see together or watch together. And I think that they
Yeah,
would
I took my
truly enjoy
mom
it.
to see it, and she looked. Oh my god, that movie was so good. It was
Yes.
so good.
Yes, and honestly, man, I know that there's jokes about Michael B. Jordan out there about his acting ability, but nah,
You know
dude,
what? I said the same thing, and I said maybe timepieces are his thing
yeah,
because the modern, I'm not really. I will honestly say I'm not really a huge fan of his acting, but
hmm
he bodied this to
yes,
where I was like, Michael B. Jordan. Like I really was like, oh my goodness, like he did the accent very well.
hmm
He was able to like embody his character very well. So two characters very well.
characters, yeah.
So I was like, it. I was surprised after watching it. I was very surprised.
Yeah, I have a question
So,
because I love they're considering like all these spin-offs and stuff like that. But I love the lore overall of this story. Because they do have this whole thing of like how you said the Choctaw, they're vampire hunters. So
hmm
they've encountered this before. So there's a whole story that you can tell right there. You can tell a whole story of Smoke and Stack literally double crossing the mafia, the
yeah,
Italians and the Irish, because that's a whole story within itself of them in
hmm
Chicago, them going over to the war and stuff like that. You can tell a whole story of that. You can tell a story of them prior to leaving to Chicago with Stack and Mary and Annie and Smoke having a baby. Like, there's so many different avenues that you could take as far as shoot, really smoking Stack killing their dad. Like there's
You
so
know
many
what?
different avenues that you could go.
A lot of people were saying that, but I don't think it would be as successful only because they've already made it a vampire movie. Like I feel like the only one that would probably be as successful or make the most sense is the story of Remick and how he did become a vampire and
That
how
is
it got him to
hmm
America, especially as an Irishman, how he came to America and then created like this or was able to manipulate these people in order to become vampires, because I feel like although other people's stories was like important towards the storyline, I feel like it wouldn't make sense towards the movie because it's a vampire movie. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
that's the whole
That's the
uh
whole backstory of
backstory.
that
the
movie.
vampire.
So
Yeah.
as much as like yes, we want to know like what happened, why Smoke and Stack ended up living with Mary, and that's how they became a couple, or like they had to go to war and they were in the German trenches. Like all of that was very interesting, but I don't think it would make like an interesting movie in itself.
Thanks.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
That's why I would like them to just keep this as a one movie and just let the lore be the lore of
Mhm.
everything. Yeah, that's what I would hope for.
I agree. I'm like, this doesn't need really like a sequel or anything like that. The as Sappy said, the most interesting thing that you could do is possibly a prequel and dive deep into Remic's story. But that because again, the whole backstory of the movie is a vampire movie. So that would be something that you could look into, or you tell a different story on what other evil spirits are out there that you invite into with music, and not just vampires. You can base a story off of that. Like, okay, well, we know that that vampires were attracted to the light of Sammy's music, but what
But
else
what
is out there?
else? Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's something that you could perhaps pull as another movie or so. But in any case, I don't, if it doesn't get a sequel, I'm not gonna be mad about that either, because I think as a standalone movie it's great. So overall, I'm giving this movie a 10. I don't really give movies a 10 out of 10, but I'm giving this one a 10. I enjoyed the story that much. And I recommend, again, if you have not seen this, guys, please go and see it. Anything else before we wrap up?
That's it for me.
Cool, cool. All right, guys. Do we have any shout outs for any black businesses or content creators that we want to give out before we get up out of here?
Uh,
None.
no,
All right. Well,
for me.
there's that. This episode has gone 2 hours, so I'm going to hold off on the rundown. But for everybody that has supported this podcast in any form or fashion, anybody who has come to this podcast, just know that we love y'all and we appreciate y'all. Please be sure that if you want to hear the rundown in its entirety, please check out other episodes, because we've got an entire list of black artists, black content creators, black businesses, and black professionals that we all support. So definitely just be sure that you check out a previous episode in that. But again, we support everything black over here. So do that, please. Shout out to my family. My brother is getting ready to get married in the middle of May, 1 week after my birthday. So that'll be, May is going to be really interesting, because I have my birthday coming up, then I got my brother's wedding, and then I am going some other places, i.e., Houston. So it will be a very busy May. But we will try to drop some episodes as much as we possibly can. The 1 year anniversary, not 1 year, goodness gracious, our yearly anniversary is coming up in June. It'll be year 5 for this podcast, which is crazy. But yeah, June 2nd is our 5th-year anniversary. That's going to be wild. I don't know what I'm gonna do for that episode yet, but I mean, we'll figure something out. In any case, also support our co-host here, with Scuba Steve. Please be sure that you go and listen or buy Wake the Dead, as always. And Sappy, you still doing Scrappy Cinnamon out there?
Yes, sir. Working on it right now.
Okay. Well, definitely shout out to Sappy. Sappy, I may want I'm thinking about getting a tiki. I might need your help on that one.
You know, I was
Yep.
supposed to make them for homecoming. We'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
I got you.
I got you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and just sign off. If we don't have anything else, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast on your favorite DSP. Please be sure, of course, that you subscribe to the Patreon. That's patreon.com/Chaotic Culture Pod for bonus content, episodes early, and of course, us doing random shenanigans. Especially if you want to see me do any music reviews, you have to go on Patreon to see them in full. You can see them on YouTube when I first do them, but you won't be able to see them after that because of copyright. So if you want to hear music reviews such as Kendrick Lamar's GNX or Megan Thee Stallion's Megan, please be sure that you subscribe to that Patreon. I will be doing more music reviews as well, going live. We are more than likely probably going to have to, not going to have to, but we are going to get a Twitch, because yes, why not? That's where I really want to do these music reviews. So if there are any albums that you want me to listen to and review, please let me know. I'm getting ready to dive deep into this Coco Jones album. So yeah, that's that. There's some more music that I have yet to listen to that I want to listen to. So please be sure that you let me know what albums you want me to listen to and review, and or do a live reaction to. So there's that. Also, please be sure that you follow us on Facebook at Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can also follow us on IG and Threads at Chaotic Culture Pod. You can follow us on X/Twitter at Chaotic Culture 1. You can follow us on Blue Sky at chaoticculture.bsky.social. And then you can follow me, Ked the Pro. That's K3D the Pro on all social media. You can follow Scuba Steve at Scuba Steve 1428 on all social media. You can follow Sappy at Scraps14 on all social media. You can follow Jay at Lee Trey on all social media. You can follow Ms. Nasa at Nam Nakaso on all social media. And of course, you can find Law on Instagram at L.JR_96. And you can find him on X/Twitter at Law96_. And yeah, this has been another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. So until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture, chaos rules, be blessed, be safe. God is love. And we are out of here. Deuces.
So what's the word?
You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast. And